But in all seriousness, here are some funny stories and good advice we hope you can learn from.
Alright, so my funniest story at field training really isn't funny at all. It's more of a fun fact. I was counseled a total of 6 times. From day one, I ran into the Commandant of Cadets who didn't like me at all. And that started off my long chain of counselings. I got counseled on day 1, day 2, then I had a day off, counseled on day 4, and that was 3 times at Garrison, 3 times at GIF Tech. So needless to say, I had a good time.
There's this Cadet Lee, kind of an awkward kid, didn't talk too much. And so we're at Maxwell and there's an inspection. And yes, he did in fact flush the apple down the toilet. He took an entire apple, not an apple core, crushed it down, and flushed it down the toilet. And the toilet did not work for the rest of Maxwell.
My funniest moment at field training probably had to be the moment that when I wrote such a pathetic journal about missing coffee that my CTA actually got me coffee the next day.
So my second day of GIF Tech, I ran into the NCOIC. Her name was Technical Sergeant Chandru. I didn't know her name at the time, and I accidentally called her Technical Sergeant Mandrew, just incorrectly reading her name tape. She screamed at me, and I got a Form 17 and a talking to by my flight training officer.
I think most of our stories are inappropriate to tell in a formal gathering like this.
Memory of ROTC was we got told the year before us had about 45% selection rate to field training. And so Colonel Reese went up to us and said, in all honesty, half of you won't be here next year. And then March came around, or April, and it was 100% selection rate.
So my favorite memory from ROTC is probably any time I've been in the NCO's office because they always give me really good advice. And I probably cried in there more times than I can count. And there was one time that I went in there and it was just Sergeant Barr, and I sat down at his desk and started I don't even know. I was just crying so hard, and he turns around and he's like, no, Reed, don't cry. And he was like, and he grabs Chipotle napkins. It was this is all I have. And it was just the sweetest thing. So I really appreciate that.
I would say that my favorite memory would have to be flying with Civil Air Patrol. It's something that we get to do every now and then, depending on if it gets set up or not. But basically, you get to jump in a plane and just fly around the area. And we got to do this great experience of flying over FSU proper and seeing the stadium from the air and seeing the whole campus where you live. You get to see all the streets you drive down all the time, and it was really great and really reinforced my idea that I really wanted to fly.
All right. My favorite memory from ROTC is not just one memory, but it's when our whole class came together to become really good friends who could work together, work hard together, and also hang out together. I really do think that we're a family here, and that's one of my favorite things from ROTC here.
Favorite memory from ROTC was doing a color guard event at a retirement home. And when a group of cadets had gotten done presenting the colors, we had a group of veterans come up to us thanking us for doing what we had done and coming out for their Veterans Day celebration. And it was just a really humbling experience to have them thanking us for doing something as simple as presenting the colors when they had given so much for our country. So just being able to remember them and show them that their service had not been forgotten.
So my favorite memory from ROTC has to be during my time as FTP flight commander, and we did a sandbag workout with a 4-mile run and stops with calisthenics, and but seeing the way that they came together and supported one another and supported me as well was one of the most rewarding experiences I think I've ever had here, and I hope that I can have experiences like that in the Big Blue as well.
So 2 things. First, don't take yourself too seriously. Take the program seriously, take your grades seriously, don't take yourself too seriously. Get out and have fun every once in a while. Second thing, once you figure out that this is what you want to do, make sure that you give your all to it.
The one piece of advice I have for cadets continuing in the program would be to be proactive. Don't wait for good opportunities to come to you. You got to go out and seek those opportunities to better improve yourself.
I think what I want ROTC cadets to know is that your 4 years or 3 years in ROTC is really worth it. You get to see yourself grow as a cadet, and if you really put your mind to it, you'll reap the rewards in the end.
If I could give you guys one piece of advice before I leave, it would be to prioritize what you care about. Because living up to your values will make you happier than living up to someone else's expectations of you.
One thing I'd like cadets to know before I leave ROTC is really nothing is a failure. You can always learn something from a negative situation. So always keep thinking positive and keep looking forward.
The biggest thing I've learned at ROTC is that coming in, there's always more to learn than what you previously expect. Be able to learn on the fly and seek out information because it's not just going to be handed to you.
Your mind is always going to quit before your body does. If you're ever at lead lab or your physical training and you can't do something or you feel like you can't do something, your mind's going to say, I can't, but your body's saying, I can.
The biggest lesson that I've learned in ROTC is the importance of mentorship. It's invaluable to have mentors that you can go to ask for feedback from. In the real Air Force and in any career, feedback isn't going to come to you, you're going to have to seek it out. And if you have those mentors already established, whether it be amongst your peers or even with cadre, you can go ask them for feedback all the time to help you reach the goals that you already have set.